do that better. There we go. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Let's all stand for a word of prayer, shall we? Oh, loving Father, I thank you for this day. I thank you so much for these wonderful educators who gather in this room this afternoon, and we are getting a chance to celebrate them and what they do to impact lives of our kids here at Polk School District. Oh, Heavenly Father, they come from a long line of folks who have done so much for the kids here at Polk County. And I'm excited to see how even in this generation, we are impactful so many different ways for our kids now, even more than ever before. So, dear Lord, let us continue to work with these wonderful gifts we call kids and do the very best that we can for them each and every day. And Lord, I ask you also to watch over these families of not only our teachers, but our kids and all students in our system and all folks who work here at PSD every day. We ask this in your loving name. Amen. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right. Well, again, good afternoon, everyone. We're now calling this meeting to order. Under routine matters, item A, roll call. We will notice that Mr. Bernard Morgan and Dr. Rita Carter are unable to be here today at the current time, and we want to keep Bernard Morgan's daughter in our thoughts and prayers as she is very ill. There's Dr. Carter. How you doing? Now, as we move to item B, we have our agenda, and we need now an opportunity for that agenda to be approved as we begin our time together. I got a motion from Ms. Mays. Do I have a second? Mr. Williams, anybody want to talk about the agenda? Glad not. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All approved. Also, board, you've been provided the previous minutes from last month, many sessions that we had and trainings, and our 10-7 work session. You've had a few minutes, of course, or had plenty of time to review those. Do we have a motion to approve those minutes? Ms. Mays and Dr. Renshaw with the second. Anybody want to talk about the minutes? Not hearing any. Let's vote. All those in favor of accepting the minutes as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Sounds like the ayes still have it. Good afternoon, Mr. Superintendent.
Good afternoon.
Item 4 says today, public participation.
Yes, we have no request to address the board
Okay.
today.
All right. Item 5, Educator of the Year recognition, Mr. Superintendent.
At this time, we will be recognizing our Educator of the Year, and I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Hyde for this portion of it.
Right. It is my pleasure to recognize and celebrate again our school representatives for Educator of the Year. We were able to officially celebrate each of these individuals last Thursday at a luncheon where their principals shared the wonderful contributions that they make on a daily basis for our students, schools, and community. I would like to thank our superintendent, Mr. Lumpkin, and our board members for all they do to support our educators throughout the district. I invite Mr. Lumpkin to share a few remarks, and then we will call each school's Educator of the Year to come and join us at the front.
I just want to say that, I'm not going to speak too long. I just want to say that I'm very proud of all of our teachers in Polk School District, but I'm especially proud of this group that comes up here. I said this at the luncheon the other day. These folks were, they're representing their schools. They were voted by their peers at their schools for the leadership that they show and just the great qualities of a good teacher. And to me, the most important thing, the dedication that they have to the students of Polk School District. So I'm very proud of each and every one of them.
All right. At Cedartown High School, we have Ashley McGriff. Rockmart High School, Mr. Nick Sykes. Sorry. Rockmart Middle School, Mark Winters. Cherokee Elementary, Miss Beth Morgan. Eastside Elementary, Miss Emily Simpson. Northside Elementary, Jody Knight. Van Wert Elementary, Sandy Guthrie. Westside Elementary, Bree Wharton. And Youngs Grove Elementary, Miss Amanda Woodham. So ladies and gentlemen, your 2025-2026 Educators of the Year. To determine the district representative for Educator of the Year, we have a process that we conduct yearly. Each school representative is provided and submits a packet that includes professional information, community service, contributions to the profession, and an essay. We hosted a panel of judges that represented both sides of the district in addition to retired educators and business representatives. By utilizing a rubric to score each component of the packet, they determined our Polk School District Educator of the Year. I can only imagine the task of reviewing and scoring all of the candidates' submissions. Please know that you are all an asset to Polk School District, and it is our honor to have you represent us. But without further ado, we would like to congratulate Miss Beth Morgan. Miss Yvonne, will you come up to the front to get your picture? Thank you all, and if Miss Beth will stay. With you.
Congratulations, Ms. Morgan, well deserved. She's a great teacher. Before we move on to the next, to our next point here, I just want to, say that this month is School Principal Month, and I would like for our principals of Polk School District to stand up this time. These people right here are on the front lines every day, and I cannot do my job without them. All of us up here couldn't do our jobs without them. They make the schools run. They are there. They are taking the brunt of most of it, unless some of them pass it off to me or Mr. Williams, but Wesley. But anyway, but no, this bunch right here. That's one thing about it is being superintendent. I have all the confidence in the world of these people standing up in here, and they make my job a whole lot easier, and I appreciate it, every one of you. And before you leave, we got you a little something back here, so drop by and get it. But I do appreciate you, and thank you for being not only a great administrator, but thank you for being my friend.
Always enjoy celebrating such wonderful stuff. Item 6, committee reports. Mr. Superintendent.
Yes, we had a policy and personnel committee meeting back on September 22nd, and Mr. Hawkins is going to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, we met on 9/22. It was myself, Mr. Lumpkin, Mr. Morgan, and Ms. Harden. We just have one policy item that needed to be revised. Formerly, the policy was that the superintendent spent $25,000 without board approval. We moved that down to $10,000, so we approved that out of committee, and it's on the table now. And we'll be taking that off the table for the next meeting and vote on that. So that's all we discussed.
For the record, I don't spend any money unless I talk to them about it.
Okay, good to know, good to know. Next item is item 7. We begin our action items for the evening, financial reports. Mr. Superintendent?
Yes, our Director of Finance, Ms. Melissa Allred, will present the financial report for August.
The district has completed 16.67% of the fiscal year as of August 2025. Revenues were 13.82% less than expected. Expenditures were 12.4% less than projected, and the general fund balance was $2,035,540.91.
I recommend the board approve the financial report for August.
Okay. You've heard from our superintendent today in regards to our financial reports for August 2025. Do I have a motion to accept? Dr. Carter, do I have a second? Mr. Williams, any discussion? Not hearing any. All those in favor of acceptance of the report, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, great. Item subset B, Harps Academy MOU.
Yes, we have to do this every year, so I recommend the board approve the Harps Academy MOU as presented.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation from the superintendent in regards to our Harps Academy MOU, which is that agreement that we have to run Harps Academy with those fine folks up there for those students. Do I have a motion to accept it? By Ms. Mays, do I have a second? Dr. Carter, any discussion? Okay, not hearing any. We're ready to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Sounds like it's approved.
Okay.
Item C, 4-H County Extension Program.
Yes, I recommend the board renew our contract with the Board of Regents for the University of Georgia 4-H program assistant position at the cost of $5,309 for FY26. This is something we have to do every year.
It's an annual cost, as I remember. We've done this almost every year, or if not every year I've been on the board. We hear that from the superintendent. I need a motion. Mr. Hawkins, and a second by Dr. Renshaw. Any discussion? Oh, sounds good to me. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, sounds like it's approved. All right, item subset D, 2026-2027 school calendar.
Okay, before I do the recommendation for this, I want to just tell the process that we went through as a district. We tried to be as transparent as possible for the calendar. We started out, each administrator was told to send an administrator, a certified person, a classified person, and a parent from each school here. We also had school nutrition, we had transportation, we had everybody, all stakeholders involved in it. We met, I talked to them about some of the guidelines we needed to go through to make sure that we had, certain dates that we didn't need to have days off because of FTE and things like that. And I gave them a task to go back and talk to their staff. Parents go back and talk to other parents. Everybody talk to their colleagues about it, and then we would come back and put these calendars together. 2 weeks later, we met back, everyone, and what I did, I told them, we broke up into 4 different groups, and I said, I want you to give me a 4-day calendar, a 5-day calendar, and a hybrid calendar. And so they created those 4 different groups of a mixture of all stakeholders. They created those 3 calendars. Once we got all the calendars up here, we made copies, we gave it out to people, and we voted as a whole collaborative group which 4-day calendar we were going to go with, which 5-day calendar we were going to put out there, and which hybrid calendar we were going to put out there. And so I was asked many times by people in this group that was up here When I go out to schools, I was asked by administrators and teachers, well, we're doing all of this, but the last time we did this, the calendars we voted on were not the calendars that showed up to vote or showed up to as the calendar. I gave them my word that whatever the majority picked, that's what I was going with. And so after we did that, there was a few things I had to tweak on it because some of the off days were hitting during the FDE count. The FDE count in October is our major count. We've got to have the kids there on certain days because that's where our money comes from. They read that our money comes from that FDE count. So I had to tweak it a little bit. I sent it back out to the principals and I said, this is the 4-day, 5-day, and hybrid. These are the tweaks we had to make on them. Make sure with your committee members that this is okay. Once I got the okay from all the principals that they had talked to their people, those were the 3 calendars that were put out to vote. Now, here's what the vote is. Everybody said, well, what is the vote? This is what the calendar vote totals were. We did a staff vote that was sent out to all staff members, 491 4-day, 65 5-day, 93 hybrid. We did the online parent vote, and what we did, we sent it out in our Thrill Share, our notification to the parents that they could go on there and vote with that link, and you can see the online parent vote, 63% for 4-day, 28 5-day, 9% hybrid. Then we sent it back out to the parents as a paper vote, and we sent another message through our Thrill Share, through our notification system, telling the parents that we were sending it home with the kids, they needed to vote, and send it back. When they brought it back last Thursday, all the directors up here took a school, and we went to all the different schools, and we counted along with the administrators the votes that came in. So at every school, one of our directors plus administrators counted the total to come up with this. The paper parent vote was 2,898 for 4 days, 771, 5-day, 373 hybrid. I have been as transparent as I can possibly be with this, and we've tried to think of different ways we could put it out there to vote, but this is the best that we could come up with. And like I said, people have asked me, were we going to change it? Was I going to do something different? I gave everybody my word, and I am not going back on my word. You voted for 4-day. That's what the majority voted for. That's what I'm going to go with. Chairman, I recommend the 4-day calendar for 2026-27 school year.
All right. And I want to say too, Mr. Lumpkin, thank you for the hard work you put in getting this orchestrated together. I think the process has been quite transparent, and I'm thankful very much for it. And I'm tickled to hear that we've come to a conclusion to this point. I sure am. So we've heard this recommendation. I think this vote is very important for this board, but I can't help the fact that we don't have one vote member with us tonight. So I'll bring that to this board's attention and just remind them, if you desire, now this is if you desire, you can make a motion to table it till Bernard is here, if you desire. And we can wait till he's able to come back with us so we can all vote on this. But at this time, is there a motion before us? Yes, ma'am, Ms. Mays.
I vote to table it till Mr. Morgan's here.
I'll
It
second
needs to
that.
be a full board.
It does.
Needs to be a full board. I got you. So I have a motion from Ms. Mays and a second by Dr. Carter. Okay? Discussion. I think it appropriate if anybody wishes to make any comments about the motion or about the calendars and the information presented. I'm giving you a time right now.
Yeah, I've got a bit of discussion. We've made budget decisions and superintendent decisions without the full board being present, with one being gone, and I understand that. But I think people are hung up, and I had zero input on the calendar. But I think people are hung up when you start saying 4-day and 5-day. I think what we need to look at is 147 days. Now, I could care less. You can go 147 days straight, 3 days a week, 4 days a week, 5 days a week. It doesn't bother. It didn't matter to me. But I think the 147 day is just a non-starter. I mean, we're so failing kids with 147 days. It's just, and that's my personal opinion. So if you want to do a calendar with 165 or 70 days, and you want to do 4-day a week, great, go ahead. If you want to do 5 days a week, great, go ahead. If you want to do 165 days straight, and then call it quits for the school year, fine. But I think people are getting in their minds about 4-day versus 5-day and not understanding the grand picture is we're only going 147 days of education. And that's very important, especially on the elementary side, right? And I know the state standard's 5.5 hours, 6 through 12. You know, if you do the math, we're right there at the very minimum standard. But I don't like to be minimum about anything that we do. If you start talking about safety and well-being of children, and that's discussed a lot, then probably they'll be at school 20 more days is probably a good thing, in my opinion. It's just, you know, we're dropping down to a point where we're sacrificing the education of children. And right now, teachers are having to basically feed children with a fire hose because they got X standards in X amount of time. When you take 147 days and you start taking out the week before Christmas break, the couple of days, the homecoming days, kids, you're losing 15, 20 days of instructional time because of those. And those are important too. You know, homecoming week, you need that, right? It's part of the whole school experience, but you're sacrificing a lot of days for that child, and it multiplies, right? By, you know, a child in kindergarten, by the time at our current 146 days, they're missing, 50, 60, 70 days by the time they reach third grade. And y'all know what happens in third grade. That's some testing grades right there, and that's, and we wonder why we're either treading water or a little behind on testing. Well, we're only going 147 days. So, my recommendation, and I like the faculty, because I was in the school system when we voted on the calendar and it was something different. I like the faculty and staff coming up with the calendar. That's great. But we should have had a minimum amount of time on that. And 147 days just is not cutting it. Yeah, you can do it, but you're cutting out a bunch of things that to make well-rounded students. I mean, academic teachers don't want students going on any kind of trips outside the classroom because they only have a very limited amount of time that they get in front of those students. They want them there. So it's, and that's just my opinion. And to vote to table it, all that's going to do is just have the same discussion another month down the road. I'd like to make a secondary motion that we amend the current recommendation to include 165 days.
Okay. Now, it's my understanding, and I've got our attorney back here, Mr. Rob Monroe, can also help a little bit for parliamentary procedure for me, but my understanding of the motion that's on the floor is the first one.
Right.
Okay? So the secondary motion is just that, it's secondary.
Right. And I vote on the first motion first, that there was a motion and a second, so go ahead and vote on that. And if Mr. Hawkins wants to make his motion and there's a second, then, you can vote on that. But after the first vote, it may be moot, I guess. But he can certainly make his motion, he can get a second, if he wants to do that after the first vote.
I would like to speak.
Okay. You want that second?
No, I would like to speak.
Okay, hang tight, okay? All right. So I think it's appropriate I ask for a second for Mr. Hawkins' vote currently.
Well, let's
think you've got
vote
to
on
do
the
discussion.
vote on the
Good to
vote
finish
on
the discussion
I think we
first.
gotta finish
Yeah,
the
all right.
discussion first.
All right, so we go from there. So we're gonna come back to that. Jeff, we'll come back to you in just a minute. Who else desires to discuss an item or make a point for the first motion? And I think that was you, Dr. Carter.
I would. I've taught at every grade level in the school system. High school, middle school, mostly middle school as a classroom teacher, elementary school. My children went to school here. I really appreciate the effort of fairness to let every stakeholder have a say. I didn't have a say, and except for just what I'm saying now. I cannot, with all conscience, conscience vote for a calendar that cuts 33 days off a 180 school year. Although I know by state law, you don't have to do the full 180 days, I understand that. But I had difficulty as a teacher covering the math concepts I needed in class. And I have worked with several students in the school district in math, trying to catch them up to where they need to be. And you can pile COVID on top of reduced calendars. All of it has made an impact, a great impact on students that are in high school now. And it really concerns me that they're not caught up and that they are struggling as much as they are. And not everyone has someone who's going to help them with it outside of the school day. So it's just a great concern of mine, and I just cannot support the 4-day calendar as it stands. So again, I admire you, Mark, for doing what you've done. I really do. I cannot imagine.
I'd also like to say that I appreciate the work Mark did on the calendar, and we gave him our support to put the committee together, and we gave him our support to bring a calendar to us. We never suggested more days or more time.
We did not.
So I'm a firm believer, and it didn't happen many times when I taught, but that if we're going to put it to a vote, the vote wins. So in my opinion, the only thing on the table is this 4-day calendar that was unanimously voted for. And unless people can come to me and convince me otherwise, there's not another calendar to look at. Mr. Lumpkin doesn't have another calendar sitting before us. We have been brought one calendar, and like you said, we didn't look at calendars and discuss them. We didn't do that during a retreat. We didn't talk about changing from a 4-day week to a 5-day week. So at this time, that's to me not a possibility. Now, looking forward, I'm for a 2-year calendar. And if there wants to be discussion and workshops and data brought, because I want to see the data, because I have the data for the 4-day week. I want to see what people want to bring to me on a 5-day week, and then make an educated decision that 2 years down the road we're going back to a 5-day calendar, but not at this time, because that's not what we've discussed, and that's not where we are. That's not what we're looking at. That's my opinion.
Ms. Mays?
I just want to say, if we trusted our people to do it, and they democratically did it, and we are a democracy, are we not? Then if we turn around and tell them their vote didn't count, then what are we saying about us? We asked, and we received. So I don't see any problem with it.
All right, Jeff, I'm gonna go, let me come, you were the first one to speak, so I'm gonna get everybody's voice in there. Drew?
I too have some issues with the 147 days. I think we've gotten caught up on the 4-day versus 5-day. Versus the overall, how many days of instruction for our kids in front of teachers. And there's so many societal impact that our kids are going through that impact test scores. A lot of people say it's because of the 4-day, the 5-day. To be honest, I don't have a problem with the 4-day. I don't have a problem with the 5-day. There's so many variables that we can't control: home life, discipline, things of that aspect. Parents not working with their kids like they used to. So I don't think you can tie test scores to 4-day or 5-day. However, that is the only variable we do have control over, is how much time are we letting our kids be in front of a teacher to get instruction. And if we minimalize it to the lowest possible metric to meet the standards, shame on us. If we did not have meetings or retreats to discuss this as a board, shame on us, because we are now having to voice our opinions here, which is fine, thank you to Mr. Madden for allowing this. I don't think this has been typical in years past, and in an effort to show more transparency, you have voiced your opinion that, hey, we need more of this transparency. So I appreciate that. Appreciate Mr. Lumpkin taking the opportunity to get the preferences or opinions from the parents and from the staff, because it has opened up the discussion of what is the preference, what is best for the parents and the staff. However, in this, and I'm new to this, and I'm not in education, my parents were, but there's one voice that has not been asked, and that's the voice of the student. And all I've heard from the time that I've been in training only is you are in it to represent the students. There's not a student who voted on this. So if we're going to open up all cans of worms, this is preference for the employees and for the parents. And that's the issue I have is somebody, all I've heard is we've got to be the advocates for the student. And in my opinion, whether it's 4 or 5 days, I would like to see more instructional days. I don't have a problem with the 4 day. I would just like to see more instructional days. I know with our tax base, we have problems when it comes to compensation for our employees. And I'm afraid that we, because of those limitations, are compensating our teachers with extra time off at the cost of our children's education and their instructional time in front of the teachers. And that's where I have an issue. Not necessarily 4 day or 5 day. Just get extra days of instruction in with the students, is my opinion.
And I didn't get the student vote, but I can put one out there.
That's about all I've heard.
But I mean,
I have to
but-
talk, but I
but you
spoke to
know-
more students than
I mean, you
adults.
know, you, Mr. Hawkins, and Mr. Williams, y'all were all at that committee meeting. I mean,
Oh, I
I
don't
thought I
fault
was as fair as I could
you.
be.
Oh, yeah, you-
And I never voiced my opinion of which way it should or shouldn't be.
No.
And hold on, let's bring it back together. Let me say a few words, okay, if y'all don't mind. And I hope y'all are enjoying this out here. Having a great time with it. Obviously, this is an issue that impacts our school system. It impacts you as educators, and it does impact our children very, very much. I was on this board when this first came about, having a 4 day week. A couple of us were. And it was right after COVID. The history of this is where this was really an adjustment for COVID due to the fact originally we had 2 sets of lesson plans we asked every teacher to prepare. One for a virtual setting and one for an in-classroom setting. And we only had a day's notice, or if that we were going to go into a situation where we were going to have to go virtual for whatever amount of time it could have been because of COVID. Subsequently, as COVID just went away and kind of disintegrated a little bit for us, thankfully, we ran into a situation where the 4 day week did afford us some things that we learned. And one was on that Monday that it was opportunities, to get in trainings that were going to have to be, that were pre-COVID, were being done on teacher work day / also after school. Faculty meetings were being done after school. During the week, which now teachers are having to get home, and somewhere 5 in the afternoon, maybe even later. And then on top of that, have a situation where they had to go home to grade papers and prepare for the next day. And as I had to educate someone not too long ago, I'm pretty sure no teacher gets paid overtime. And they never have, and they don't, and I know that. So, with that being said, one of the things that's been my guiding point, and a couple of great points have been brought up on both sides of this argument. It's not easy. One of the great points that I see of this is the fact that on Mondays, our teachers have a chance to prepare, and I am a firm believer that the best way a student can be impacted and to grow educationally is for the simple fact that you put a prepared and motivated teacher in front of them in an environment that is safe, that is functional, and helping out for that child to grow. That has been my mainstay and bellwether about this whole thing. If I can provide that, I have the best opportunity, I think, for that child to learn on those other 4 days. We tested this on academic growth across all grade levels. We have seen academic growth at the 4 day week school schedule. And some of it has even continued to compound, and we're seeing really good results. Okay? So with that, and then also the simple fact of the amount of transparency that has gone into this as we gather here today, we see overwhelming support. And of course you took it down. But we see overwhelming support for a 4-day week from our educators, from our parents. Okay? Now, to me, that's why a 4-day week needs to be the choice. Okay? But as I have stated previously, and as the motion that is currently before us first, is the motion to table this until the entire board, with Mr. Morgan's absence, be able to deliberate this. We have that motion before us. And then we'll come to the secondary motion, if we could, Mr. Hawkins. You have your motion on the table here as well, so let's get the first motion on out of the way. And then, do you have a rebuttal, Mr. Hawkins?
I just, a few more comments too. And I agree, the 4-day was overwhelming, but it's just that. It was voting on a 4-day, not 146, 156, 166. And I'm totally okay with a 4-day. If you can make a 3-day work, I'm good with that. But
Well, with the calendars that was presented, the 4-day
Right.
was 147, the 5-day was, I can't even remember what it was, but, and that's,
172.
so that's why, I mean, you know, people knew the 4-day was 147, 5 days were those days, that's why.
But if you could get 165 on a 4-day, if that was possible, you know, that might have been,
We'll have to start earlier, or go later in the year, or take out the fall and winter break.
yeah, there's concessions that
I
would
mean,
have
you're
to be
talking
made.
about 18 days
Yes.
that we're going to have to come up with.
Well, as I stated, right now what's before us. Are there any other discussion about the motion that's on the floor right now?
If the motion to table is approved, this will come back to us in its original form, not being amended for vote in the next board meeting.
That is correct.
I'm uncomfortable with the fact that 3 of us have vocally said that we do not support this 4-day, and 2 do. That is not a tie, and you're the chair, so you wouldn't get a vote. I don't feel good.
That is actually, let me refer, I just
Okay.
looked up something on that
Good.
today
I'm glad.
because of
Okay.
this. Because I've heard this might be a situation. Policy BBA of Polk School District actually states that the chair is not limited to a vote to only break a tie. I was
Good.
unaware of that.
Good.
I could vote on any item if I desired in all this, and so technically, we would have a tie
We would
today.
have ties if we did.
Okay?
And Bernard would break,
And Bernard, and that would be that odd tie.
or either it would go back to Mr. Lumpkin to have to come up with Plan B.
If there was a plan B for him to prepare, it would be up to Mr. Lumpkin. Okay? All right, now, how about it now? We ready for a vote for the motion on the table, which is to table the school calendar till next month?
I just got one more thing, you know, this vote, you're okay with 18 days less of instruction than it is what it is.
All right, thank you for that. All right,
It does appear that there is a stalemate here, and to table it will only put off the inevitable till next month. And I suspect that the vote to table it will not pass either, as it will probably be in a tie as well. And I would then say, you know, I would support an amended calendar with those options of possible more instructional days to further research those.
okay. All right, well, it is,
Gotta vote on
let's
this.
vote for what we got first, okay? And then we'll see what else we come up with. So let's vote. All those in favor of, hold on, I gotta remember what I got here. All those in favor of putting on the table for 1 month the presentation of a 4-day calendar for Polk School District for the 2026-2020 school year, with a show of hands, show me all for doing that.
Are you saying?
Or tabling it.
Yeah, tabling it till next month.
The motion on the floor is to table the approval of the school calendar for 26-27. That was Ms. May's motion and Dr. Carter's second. So that's the motion on the floor, is to table the matter until, or vote on the superintendent's recommendation until the next meeting.
But that, it'll come off the table in the exact same format as it is currently right now, correct?
Yes.
That is correct.
And we'll come
yeah,
back to
I'm-
the board.
Yeah, I can do that because it's just putting,
All right, that's the motion on the floor. All those in favor, raise your hand. Okay, 4. All those opposed, same sign. 4-2. It's been tabled for 1 month. Okay? Now, do you have now Jeff, would you please restate your motion?
yeah, I make a motion, we amend the original recommendation to include an additional 18 days of instructional time. Whether it's 4 days, 5 days, same process, just more instructional days.
Okay. Do I have a second? Got a second by Mr. Williams. Okay. Discussion.
So this would mean that Mr. Lumpkin comes up with a whole new calendar
An additional option, possibly. It would mean that.
after our vote next month. It kind of muddies it.
It would. A little bit, maybe. But it's, again, that's the motion on the floor.
Okay.
Discussion or questions for those that make the motion?
I would like one more discussion. I have to say that I agree with Mr. Hawkins and I like more days. And however, I don't know how this is going to fit into the first motion, and I'm really
Confused on this, yeah.
torn, actually.
Okay,
So,
all right. Any further discussion? Personally, I believe this conversation, I like hearing what you're saying, okay? I think if we're gonna do that, I'd like to get this first matter out of the way first, where we look at it and approach it in the month of November. That's just my personal opinion, okay? And
I'm just,
move forward.
and then
I would just like for us as a board to have further or more discussion about this moving forward with the possibility of more instructional days. As was said, it did go to the staff and parents, and it is overwhelming for a 4-day. And I don't think that any of us three are against a 4-day. It's just the instructional number of days
that's,
is the least amount of days that we can put our kids in front of an instructor. And that's the issue I think that we have, is possibly adding more instructional days. And it could be that you give teachers more days off, more work from home planning days. So I think there's a way to keep teachers happy, but also not limit the amount of time that our kids are in front of teachers. And I'm afraid that we've, again, sacrificed instruction days with kids because we can't compensate our teachers similar to other counties around us. And I just don't think that's where we need to be making those cuts.
Okay.
I got a question, if I can speak in this. Exactly how do y'all want me to come up with another calendar? Now, I've tried to be as transparent as I could, but everybody that was part, do I bring that whole committee back and say, hey, y'all gotta come up with 165 days and that's it? I mean, or I don't feel comfortable with me or any of my people up here just coming up with 165 days, because then the teachers are gonna be after us. If we had, and since I came into this position, we've been trying to build the trust up from the teachers, the parents, and the community, and I don't want it to just be a few of us sitting up here coming up with a calendar. I mean, are y'all saying y'all want to be a part of it that helps come up with 165 days? I just need to know what direction to go. I'll go any way that y'all tell me to do.
In analyzing Chattooga County's and Haralson County's calendars, they don't have a fall, well, they do have a fall break. It's 2 or 3 days. They don't have a winter break.
Mm-hmm.
There are days there that,
Haralson County goes 151 student days. Their middle and high goes the same amount of time as our middle and high. Their elementary, their elementary is 3 through 5. They go 10 minutes more a day than what we go. Their primary, which is pre-K through second, they go 5 minutes more a day than what we do. They are out on Mondays. They make more than we do, and the teachers work longer in a day. Like elementary comes in, they have to be at 6:40. I think it's elementary has to be there at 6:45, and they leave at 4 every day. That's teachers. 6 through 12, they come in at 7:15 and leave at 4:30. So when we compare Haralson County, we're going from 151 days compared to our 147 days. So Haralson County, to me, is not a good one that we can compare with, because we are not that much different, other than the teachers being out on Monday, but they work longer, and I think they count a teacher day. What was it, Nathan? They counted a teacher day.
9.25 hours.
9.25 hours is what a teacher works on every day.
What do we work on? See, and here again, this is a discussion I think we should be having as a board so that we have this information. What hours do we work?
Elementary, help me out. What time does your teachers come in?
7 to 3 or 17 to 3:10, but they usually 5 till 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
middle
what
and
is
high?
that total?
8 hours.
7:33.
8 hours a day,
8
40
hours.
hours a week.
But the reason Haralson County is out on Monday completely is because their teachers work 9.25 hours per day. But Haralson County, everybody's off. That's transportation, food service, the whole 9 yards. Nobody works on Mondays.
And I do think
But-
that's potentially another cost savings that this school district could. It may be minimal, and I think we've talked about it. It's not a lot,
It's not a
but
lot,
but I would.
I mean, just when we talk about Haralson County, it's just,
Yeah.
they're 151 days and we're 147, so, and we're basically the same. I mean, if you say 5 minutes difference, come on, that's 5 minutes of getting your bags ready to go. 10 minutes in elementary, it's, it's walking to car riders and things like that. So.
But I also think on the 4-day, to elaborate, right now our kids get 15 minutes of recess time. That's from the door back to the door. And you're starting to see people or parents say, it's just not enough time for a kid to socialize at school or take a break. On the 4-day, we are definitely, like Jeff said, we're feeding these kids with a fire hose because every single minute is consumed with academic stuff. And I think that you're gonna see a trend. A lot of your homeschool parents say, it's just not enough time for a kid to be a kid during the day, to have a break. And on the 4-day, or 5, or 147 instructional days, if you had 164, 165 instructional days, it's possible that you could lengthen that time for a kid. My concern is we've just not had those conversations. We've not analyzed all of those data so that, me personally, I could understand it. And I know there's been some people that said, hey, you gotta go with what people voted on. And you go, I haven't talked about it with anybody other than people that have asked me. So,
But
and
it
this,
is what I've suggested for the second calendar. When we put 2 up there, the discussion needs to be made on that second calendar is that what number of days and what number of hours do we want the committee to look at when they're forming a calendar, or do we as a board want to set the calendar? That's the things I've said over and over at retreats and when we've talked, is that we need to make a decision on going back to more time instruction, whether it be days or whatever. We need to make that decision before the calendar is formed. And we haven't done that. So at this point, that is something that we need to do, but we haven't done it.
Okay. All right. The motion before us, would somebody like to read the motion back before us?
As I understand it, the motion on the floor is Mr. Hawkins' motion to amend the superintendent's recommendation to approve a 165-day calendar. That's the way I understand it. Is that your motion?
Yes, and I'm not set on the 165, you know, you could be 163, 167. But we need more instructional days. In a minimum, I would say, you know, 15, and preferably 18, to get us up in the 165, 167 range.
It would get us close to what our peers are doing.
So let's use 165 as the number there, if we don't mind, because that's what we stated to begin
Well,
with. When we
it's
said,
not
even
that.
though it wasn't exactly,
Yeah.
the inference was,
Yeah.
but in other words, come up with another calendar with more school hours on it and that type of thing.
More instructional.
Instructional time, okay? All right. I think we're ready. Are we ready for a vote on that motion? Okay? All right. All those in favor of the motion, Mr. Hawkins, raise your hands. Okay? All those opposed, same sign. Motion failed. All right. Next item. E, field trips.
Okay, I recommend the board approve the following overnight field trips, as presented. You can see these, RHS Ag to Fitzgerald, the Swine Show, RHS Beta to Savannah Convention Center, RHS Ag, the National FFA Convention in Indianapolis, RHS Wrestling, State Duels at East Jackson High, Van Wert Elementary Beta Club to Savannah to the Beta Convention, and the CHS Girls Wrestling to Clayton County Center. I can't.
Convention Center. Convocation Center.
Convocation Center.
All right. Board, we have this before us, these field trips. Do we have a motion to accept them as presented and let these kids go off? I got from Ms. Mays and Dr. Carter. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Approved. Item F, Centegix upgrades. Mr. Superintendent.
Yes, I recommend the board approve the Centegix upgrades in the amount of $64,800. The Centegix is our badges, and this is coming from the safety grant that the state is giving us, and this is to update. Everybody will be getting new badges. All of these things on the ceiling that goes off, they're becoming obsolete as most stuff is very quickly now. But this is just going to upgrade that, and it would be paid for through that safety grant.
Okay. Board, is there any discussion on this? Or let me start with a motion. You've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Do we have a motion? Mr. Williams, and a second by Dr. Renshaw. All right. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. It is approved. Item G, badge pass.
Yes, I recommend the board approve the badge pass expenses as listed. These are where our badges, the front badges that we use to get into the schools. Cedartown High School, the kitchen door, we've had trouble with that, and that needs to be replaced. That's $761. East side's front foyer, it's $9,865. That's to put a system in there, because right now when you go in, once you get in the foyer, you have to be buzzed in by others, and it's a safety concern that Officer McGee has talked about. And then the CMS front foyer is $14,092. That's, if you get in there, there's not a key to let you in. You can't use a key to get in. So if those doors are locked, and a safety, if we went on lockdown or something, we couldn't get in. So that will pay for that.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Superintendent. You've heard his recommendation. Do I have a motion? Ms. Mays? Do I have a second? Dr. Renshaw? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. Motion's approved. Item H, school bus transmissions.
Yes, Mr. Gladden said that we need 3 new bus transmissions, and I recommend the board approve buying 3 from Lee Smith LLC in the amount of $10,716.72.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation from the superintendent. Do I have a motion? Dr. Carter, second. Ms. Mays? All those any discussion about a transmission?
Yeah, Mr. Lumpkin, did you ever get an age on those buses?
No, I'm sorry, not on these buses. I got age on the other one we talked about, and I halted that one. I said, we're not gonna fix it. But I didn't get, Jimmy said that these buses, he said, we've got to have a transmission, and we're gonna be able to buy one bus this year for $155,000. He said, we gotta keep as many going as we can. And especially since that one we talked, we got that bus that's got frame damage, and I'm too concerned that it'll be a liability on us if we have it fixed. So I told Jimmy that I don't think we need to do that. And so he said, well, we really need these buses to stay in service here.
Okay. Any other questions? Any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. It is approved. Item I, Polk Emergency Operation Plan Resolution.
Yes, I recommend the board approve the Polk Emergency Operation Plan Resolution as presented. And what this is, they met with me and Officer McGee. If there's a major disaster where they have to utilize, the talk was like Rockmart High and Cedartown High, if we have to use those parking lots for to distribute water, food, anything like that, then we've always had that agreement, but they just needed a resolution for it, so this is what this is.
Great, okay. All right, you've heard the recommendation now from the superintendent. Do I have a motion to accept the Polk Emergency Operation Plan Resolution as it relates to Polk School District property? Dr. Carter, and then a second by Dr. Redshaw. All these doctors up here. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. So approved. One of the new items that we're adding is board member comments. You're going to start hearing. We've already had a long day today, but we want to start doing this so that you can hear what we're hearing and maybe also hear some of our thoughts. And we're going to work our way from the down there up this way this time. We'll start with that. And board members, I'm going to ask that you keep your comments, please, to 2 minutes this afternoon because we're tired. Okay? Mr. Williams?
It may be a heck of a day to start this policy, Mr. Madden, but I do appreciate the opportunity to speak. And as far as my comments, I hope, as I've seen some facial expressions in the back and forth with the discussion here, with this board, there is an effort to be more transparent. There is an effort to be in front of you guys during discussions so that there's no question of where each individual board member lies on a specific item. And I'll say I respect each and every one of the people that are sitting up here that's part of this board and their sincerity in the process. So I commend Mr. Madden, Mr. Lumpkin for everything y'all have done as far as changing the climate and the environment in our school system. I do think that people now do feel like they have a voice. They are not walking on eggshells. And I commend you, Mr. Lumpkin, for changing the tone in our school system, and Mr. Madden, I commend you for making those changes here in an effort to be more transparent.
Well, thank you. Take that. How about you, Mr. Hawkins?
Can I claim his 50 seconds?
I know you tried.
You're not wrong. Yeah, first of all, I think Mark's doing a fabulous job. I mean, he did exactly what he said on the calendar, and I appreciate that because I've been through when I made a lot of votes on stuff, and it just seemed like it was useless. So I do appreciate that, Mark, and I get it. But again, I think people are hung up on 4 and 5 and not actually days of instruction, and that's my piece on that, and I'll let it be. The good things going on in the county, we've got 46 students right now that are showing some sort of livestock through Polk School District. Most schools are represented by at least 1 or 2 students, some a little few more. One standout, Easton Cole from Rockmart High School, he won the showmanship at Perry. Perry's like the Super Bowl of cattle showing, so that was the first one ever won in Polk School District, by the way, too. And
That's really good.
They've been a lot. We've got school gardens in most of the schools. I think Mr. Jones is still working on a few school gardens to get those in. So there's a lot going on in the school system, and I appreciate everybody here for allowing those type of things to happen. I could go back to the calendar, but I'm gonna pass.
Thank you, Mr. Hawkins. Not just for that, I'm just saying thank you for your comments. Appreciate it. Ms. Mays.
I just want to say I appreciate the school district. You guys work hard. You're there every day. You make this job easy, and I appreciate it.
Okay. Great. You're not yielding your time to Mr. Hawkins, though, is
I'm
that
not.
right? Okay. I got you. Dr. Carter?
I'll keep this executive session long.
I wanted to just commend you guys because I have been so proud to say, yes, our students read a lot. Our students have really made a commitment, and our students have won recognition for this. That has just been one of the greatest things this year. So congrats to all of you who participated, but especially to the schools, and Mr. Lumpkin will recognize those schools later in the another board meeting. But I just can't let it go without saying thank you. And while every one of us have a different area that we're very passionate about, and in my case, I've got several, but I have to say that I am really pleased with the music education programs in our schools, in the elementary schools, and in the middle and high schools. It's just been a pleasure to watch the bands during the fall, and to listen to them during the spring concerts, and to go to the honor chorus for elementary and hear all the children singing and the work that goes on. But there's more. I could talk Beta Club for a long time if you want to sit here and listen to it, but I won't. So.
I'll echo Ms. Mays saying thank you to the administrators, our principals, and everybody. Today we had a safety committee meeting, and I'll report out on that next week. But overall, just seeing the discipline data and where it is, that I'm just very, very excited. And that goes to our principals and our administrators and the ones that see that as being important to address that discipline area, especially when you've worked in special education and you've addressed disproportionality. And so I want to say thank you for what you're doing for our kids.
All right, well, I'd like to say, I'd echo everything they just said, but I want to say this to this board first. It's October. This year has lasted for me somewhere around 15 years. But I have learned a lot. And it is important, as we've learned today, for us to continue to give to you, the public, an insight into what we hear and what we see, and to continue to be as transparent as we can be. We have a lot of challenges. We have a lot of data that's given to us in a lot of different ways, and we hear stuff, and it comes from all different types of places. And as I've shared with you many times, I come back to my two little girls that sit at the table with me at night. And I ask them about their day. They always tell me what Dr. Abernathy wore. And what he did that day.
Is that good or bad?
And we've laughed about it many times and said that's really cool. But my kids enjoy coming to Polk School District because of you. I'm happy with Polk School District. Can it be better? Yes, most definitely. It can be better. But it's a pretty darn good place for me and my family, and I'm thankful for it. On a policy note, there is a policy that I plan on recommending to our policy committee in regards to our field trips. As certain events have occurred in recent days, as a parent, it scared me to death. Okay? I am going to be making some recommendations that I would like for that committee to hear and to look at, and then maybe we can share with you a little later. But that's where I'm sitting, and I'm thankful so much for, again, all that you do, and for making me proud to have my kids happy at the end of the night for saying they go to Northside and Polk School District. All right. How about an executive session? Do we have a need for executive session, Mr. Superintendent?
We do, but the reading contest, it was extended, wasn't it?
Are you
Well,
kidding me?
It was,
For real?
it was extended.
You
We're
are.
gonna win, but it was extended. They pushed it on out to toward the end of October, isn't it?
17th.
Friday, okay.
Can board members read?
Come read.
Okay, I will.
Retired teachers are doing it.
All right, there is a need for executive session for personnel and legal matters.
Board, we've heard a need for executive session this evening. Who would like to make that
I'll
motion?
make that.
All right, Dr. Carter, second. Okay, Dr. Renshaw made the second. All right, all those in favor say aye.